All right, everybody, how's it going today? As you can see here, we had a incredible day, and we had a stock move over 500% on the day, and I was able to capture at least a little bit of that move and end up with the best green day that I've had. So let's get straight into it. And as you can see right here, my cumulative P&L, I made $135.45 and up 9.34%. Now, the big number here is the 9.34%. That's a huge number because if I can continually do that, which obviously I can't, this was more of a home run day. The setup, the stock, everything was perfect. And so this is a little bit more rare for something like this to happen. I aim for more like 2 to 5% a day. So this was a nice home run day. I'm really happy with it. The best trading day that I've ever had. Now on the month, we're up 373, looking really, really nice. And so let's go ahead and get straight into the trading day. All right, so here we are. This was my first trade of the day on MLGO, one of my two trades. And as you're going to see, I took an entry at this micro pullback that we're going to get right here. MLGO, it had a nice run. It got all the way up to over $30 after moving for a few days. And now it's kind of been on the backside of the overall move. But there's still some opportunities to trade it in here. So I end up taking that trade right there in MLGO. Oops, never mind. I accidentally clicked a button there and I didn't get filled, obviously. I don't really know what happened. But I was waiting for a 1 minute pullback because the thing with MLGO here was there wasn't any news. It's kind of, I mean, obviously it's been on a downtrend. And this was just a nice little pop. And I wasn't going to put everything or one of my two trades into this unless we had a really nice setup. And it actually did give a quality setup for what I look for. So the volume was real nice. Let me speed this up a little bit. The volume was nice, and you're going to see right here is where I take this trade. I mean, this is a really nice 1 minute micro pullback. We were looking for the break to 10, and we actually do get that. I just got a little greedy here, I'll say, and didn't take my profit when I should have. So that candle's going to close and it's going to form that little micro pullback. And then I'm buying the second that candle breaks this one. And you're going to see, boom, right there it happens. I'm in. And immediately we actually get a really nice squeeze. So there we get up to 983. After that, we kind of pull back a little bit, still around my break even. And then we squeeze up again all the way to 10 real quick. And so at this point, that squeeze to 10 puts me up almost 3% on the trade, and that wouldn't have been a bad place to take profit. Obviously, there's going to be profit takers around the whole dollar, especially something like 10. So I should have just gone ahead and taken half off the table there, or at least a fourth. I end up not taking anything off the table, and it actually goes up a little bit more, all the way to 1013, and then it kind of rolls over on me. So I'll speed this one up a little bit more. This is now on the 15-second chart, and as you're going to see, it really jackknifes down basically all of the here. I can actually scoot this back a little bit, and I believe basically just all of the orders on the ask kind of got wiped off. I think the market makers just pulled them, and that led to that jackknife. So I didn't like scare sell right when that happened. I held my position, but now I was kind of like, okay, I need to get out of this trade. Obviously, I had a chance to take profit up there. I wasn't able to. So now I need to take my profit and get out of it. So I get out of it. It was like a $4 winner. I mean, better than losing, of course. But, if I'd played my cards right, could have made a little bit more profit. Should have taken profit at that 1013 level instead of getting greedy. And what really made me exit this trade, let me go back real quick, is this. A 16,000 share seller on the ask at $9.80. Second I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm out of this trade. And luckily I was able to get a tiny squeeze, and that's when I sold, and I was able to walk away with, a little bit of profit. I mean, not much, obviously. It's nothing that's going to really help my account, but green is green, and I was happy it wasn't a red trade, especially after missing out on that first profit. So at this point, my spirits weren't bad. I was actually feeling pretty good. Of course, I missed out on some of those profits, but I wasn't really feeling any FOMO. I wasn't feeling any of the emotions that I have been feeling in the past when it comes to bad discipline in trading. But let's move now to right around 7 o'clock. when, let's see, when UPXI initially pops up. And so UPXI gets news, and I see it on I use Fox Runner for my news scanner, basically. And so uh, basically what happened is an investment firm invested $100 million into UPXI ticker. And so they invested $100 million into them, which is basically like buying $100 million worth of shares but that was all the way down to the price of 240. And so they do that, and it's obviously showing other investors that, okay, a big investment firm is willing to put $100 million into this company. And so that really, really drove the price up, because investment firms, they know what they're doing. They're not going to just throw $100 million into some random company. And so that's a strong catalyst. And you're going to see that the catalyst was, I mean, it really worked out. And so here at this point, we had that nice little move there. There would have been opportunity for a nice pullback in this area. However, I didn't see it yet. And so this is on the 1 minute chart. And originally there, I would have been waiting for that first candle to make a new high. And then the push to $4 and then the push to high of day. That would have been nice, but it ends up not doing that, and it kind of stalls out, and we move sideways for a little bit. So I'm going to really speed this up. The good part about it moving sideways for a little bit is I was able to get all of my levels of resistance marked out. Keep in mind, we did have the 200 EMA up there at around $5.99, just right at 6 nearly. And so there's going to be some resistance right there. And so basically now I was waiting for a 1 minute pullback, but there had to be a breakout first, of course. So that, in this range, I was like, does this qualify as a 1 minute pullback? And I said no, because obviously these candles have all kind of been moving at this range. And so, yeah, the body did close pretty high, but I don't think that's worth to take a trade if a new candle makes a high over that one. I mean, we could easily reject, especially with the topping tails that we've had up there. And so here you'll see me move to the 15-second chart. And so here I'm still waiting. And you're going to see that, let me speed this up a little bit. We start squeezing up. Okay, here we go. That came faster than I expected. So on the 1 minute chart, we start to squeeze up. The buyers are coming in. I'm looking for it to break 4 and then reach high of day for an entry, preferably on a pullback. That's what I normally end up, it's where I take my setups at. But I obviously knew that this one was trading really fast with all the volume, and there was also a strong catalyst. The float was low, perfect in the price range. It was very obvious. I mean, this was an A+ quality stock. Of course, I had to wait for the setup. And this is the one thing that I'll say I wasn't completely happy about on the day, is because I didn't wait for a perfect setup. I didn't wait for a pullback, and that it ended up working out, obviously. And so right here, you're going to see we test high of day, and then right as we go to break it is when I enter. Okay, well, now that I'm rewatching this, I see how it was a little pullback. We get that red candle there, and right as that red candle turns green, I think I take my entry. So yeah, that actually does qualify. That would be a pullback on probably the 5-second chart. It all works the same though. I mean, you have the pullback, which you can see visualized in the bottoming tail, and that's when I take my entry. And so off my entry, we go down a little bit. But basically, right as I enter the position, we get a nice squeeze. And within seconds, I'm up 5% on the trade, which is what I'm looking for to take profit. And we get a little pullback back down to around my entry. And here I hadn't taken any profit off the table yet, because I really liked how this was looking. And so I was just going to let it run for a little bit. And so right there, that's when I take my first profit. I got filled at $4.56. So I was looking for the move up to $4.50 for my first profit target, about 30 cents a share. I sold a fourth of my position. I had 170 shares that I bought. And so, I mean, that's awesome. Again, I made $130 on the position, and I only had 170 shares. So I'm not going to do the math, but I think that's over 80 cents per share, which is huge. That's awesome. Now you're gonna see later on that I could have made a lot more money, but you can't get too wrapped up in that kind of thing. It's gonna really, you're never gonna be able to capitalize on the entire move of a stock. You just want to get your piece. You want to get your piece of the pie, and then you want to get out. You want to get green and get out. And here I was able to do better than getting green and getting out. This was a home run trade for me. My first ever trade over $100, and again, my best trade that I've had. So now I'm just holding it. I took my first profit up in there as we squeezed over 450, and then I took another bit of profit as we squeezed back up to the high, which, looking back on it, not sure if I should have done that, but we did have the resistance that I marked out right there at 4.7. Now I wish I had just taken another fourth off the table instead of taking half, but you know what, that's all right. So we get up to that resistance and I take half off the table, and then we get another squeeze. This thing was moving incredible. Look at this move. I mean, you're going to see in seconds it goes from 470 all the way up to 540, a 70-cent move in less than a second. I mean, I haven't seen anything like this. I'm sure a lot of traders have, but this was new for me. This was the best moving stock that I've traded. And so that's obviously amazing. As we get that squeeze, I took a little bit more profit off the table at 512, and I could have capitalized on a lot. I could have got like 30 more cents on that, but I should have been ready for that squeeze, and then I shouldn't have sold it at the bottom. I got to get better at taking profits. Right now, I kind of just take profits like as we get a squeeze up, but I don't always do it, I guess, perfectly. And so I think that's a lesson that I need to continue to improve on, is when I'm taking my profits, because I definitely had a lot more room to make money on this stock as well as others. But like you saw in MLGO, I didn't take profit and we end up rejecting down. So it's kind of like, do you want to keep letting it rise with a chance for it to fall, or do you want to just take your or just want to get green and get out? So I'm still working on that, and that's going to be something that I'm really going to focus on now that I'm getting better in regards to taking the good setups, trading my strategy, visualizing my strategy, and then actually letting it play out. And so taking profits is definitely something that I'm going to really focus on in the upcoming days, weeks. And so we just keep squeezing up, and right there at 5.99 is where we have the 200 EMA. So I go ahead and take a little bit more off the table. Probably could have waited for it to squeeze up another 20 cents or so, because look at that, all the way up to $6.20, and then it rejects back down under the 200 EMA. And that's when I take basically the rest of my position off the table, because I had no clue we were going to break through the 200 EMA. That's not very common. I mean, a lot of times you don't break through it, and it's strong resistance. And the way you kind of have to look at these support and resistance levels is they work until they don't. Other traders are seeing them, and that's what causes them to be resistance levels. The 200 EMA isn't a magic level where the stock can't break above it. It's just other traders recognize that as a level of resistance, and so it manifests itself to becoming a level of resistance. I mean, that's how technical analysis works. These patterns aren't just magic patterns that whenever we get 3 candles up and then a pullback, it automatically shoots up. That's not how it works. These patterns and strategies work because other traders see them and then they let them play out. And so if you can figure out how other traders are thinking, and enough of you trade the same way, that's when you're going to be able to make some money in the market, as long as you're managing your risk. And so, again, basically what I was saying is the 200 EMA, I wasn't really expecting it to break. It did, but then we do flush back down under, and you're going to see we kind of go sideways here for a nice little bit. Let me really speed this up. We go sideways for a while, and so I end up taking basically all my position off. I leave one share on the table, and I end up getting it a squeeze. I mean, I take my last shares off around $10, but I mean, as you can see here, I took multiple shares off over 50% up on the trade, which is absolutely incredible. Getting any piece of a 50% move is amazing, but this thing went absolutely wild, not only while I traded it, but all the way into market open, which I'm going to pull up now. As you can see, UPXI, now it's kind of faded off during after hours and later on in the day of market open. But right here is where I traded it. I mean, this thing moved absolutely insane. This doesn't even look like a big move compared to everything else. And the kicker was, so I take the first trade for this breakout right here. We get a move all the way up to here, real nice. I take most of my profit in this area because we were kind of moving sideways. I mean, it is what it is. I thought the move was over, and for my strategy, this was the best time to get out. So I get out of the trade. We move sideways for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then right here around 7:30, we pop up again. There's a nice little pullback in there. Nice little pullback in there. Great 1 minute pullback in here. This is a perfect setup. But I have no trades left. I mean, I have no funds left to trade it. I mean, this would have been amazing. 10 out of 10 times I take this setup. I know I would have. I'd already traded the stock. But it goes all the way from $8.10 where I would have entered up to $11.20, a $3 a share move. Absolutely incredible. Sad I missed out on that one, but obviously, beggars can't be choosers. Not that I'm a beggar, but this was the best trading day I've had. I'm not gonna look at it as, oh, I could have had more. That's a horrible mindset, and definitely a way to apprehend your trading, especially your psychology. And so we get that move, and then we kind of fizzle down, retest a little bit of a W pattern there, and then we move sideways all the way until market open. And I was watching it at market open just for fun to see what happens. And boom, huge move all the way from $10 up to 13, pull back down, go back up, pull back, and now we're kind of just moving in a nice uptrend. Little 5 minute pullback right there. And we end up getting all the way up to $20 here. I mean, this stock started the day at $2.20, all the way up to $20, and then eventually all the way up to $22, moving over, I mean, well over 500%. Is that an 1,000% move? Sorry, I don't judge my math skills, but nevertheless, this was an incredible, incredible move. And I'm just happy I got to take my piece of it, you know? And that's what I'm going to do every single day is I'm going to come into the market, look for the best stock to trade, look for a setup, and take it. And that's what I did today. And I was able to have my best trading day of all time. And I just hope to continue to be able to have days like this. And if I don't, I'm going to manage my risk and I'm going to cut my losses. And so this is an example of managing your risk. And this is why I personally don't trade after market open, is because stuff like this. I mean, we open up at $18, squeeze all the way to 22, and then go down all the way to about $15 a share. I mean, a $7 range in 1 minute. That's like 40% of the stock movement in 1 minute. That's really dangerous right there, and I feel bad for any traders who got caught in that. There was a lot of really nice setups. If you manage your risk well here and you took good setups and you played it right, you definitely were able to make a lot of money on this stock today. Again, I was really happy with how it treated me. Again, on the day, up $135, just incredible. And so, key points for tomorrow and just the upcoming days, especially finishing out the month of April. I need to make sure that I'm only trading my setups and only the most obvious stocks with lots of volume, low floats, just everything in my criteria. I got to hammer down on that and keep doing it. And I got to be patient for that. Sometimes I get a little antsy and I want to take a trade, but I only get 2 shots a day, so I got to make the most of them. Again, I want to work on my profit taking. That's something that I think intuition plays a really big role in, is just feeling the trade and watching the buy and the ask orders and just looking at how they interact and knowing when to take money off the table and knowing when to let it keep running. And so I think that's something I'll just get better at. But of course, I mean, I wish I just had some easy rules that could apply and say, okay, I take profits whenever it does this and I sell when it does that. But trading's not that easy. And so like I always love to take my profits at resistance levels, but sometimes it's going to phase out earlier and sometimes it's going to squeeze right through them and completely disregard them. So that's something that I'm going to continue to work on. And then just trading my setups, trading the right stocks, and managing my risk, not taking trades that feel too risky or volatile for me. only taking setups that have really condensed micro pullbacks so I can make sure to have a tight stop. And that's how I'm going to be able to continue to be successful doing this. And yeah, I mean, I think that's all for the day. I was really happy with how the day worked out, obviously, and the move that I was able to capitalize on. And so I'm going to be here 5:30 tomorrow morning, ready for another day to trade. Whether the market gives me good moves or bad moves, I'm going to be ready and I'm going to be patient, waiting for the right setup. And I hope that you will be alongside with me to do that. And so, with that being said, everybody have a blessed day and just make sure to stay patient and follow your rules.